Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between MYMDemuslim and Raven here on Scrap Station. This is game 1 in a best of 3 matchup. I casted game 2 first and I will probably be uploading game 2 first, so just go ahead and watch game 2 and then game 1. Shouldn't really affect the outcome if there is in fact a game 3. So SCVs being produced by both sides, nothing too out of the ordinary. MYMDemuslim still mining away along here on as well as Raven. Now on this particular map, Scrap Station, I expect a lot of Raven use, just because as the bird flies or as the crow flies, these two bases are very close to each other. There is this chasm, so not even Reapers can get across, but those flying units can get across very quickly. However, Demuslim doing a proxy barracks. I cannot say that this is a standard strategy that I have seen. I've seen Thor rushes on this map, but a proxy barracks is definitely the first time that I've seen this particular replay. Demuslim also getting down a supply depot, looking to go for some sort of marine rush, and that would be a little bit of a surprise at this stage in the game. Now out comes this SCV. SCV perhaps suspecting some sort of proxy barracks rush, and wow, Raven seeing this barracks, how is he going to respond? This barracks, however, is nearly completed and unable to get to that SCV as that SCV is building along that backside, and now that SCV is already out, 2 units already trying to engage. Raven getting a couple of free hits, and now that poor SCV trying to take down that barracks. Back over here, barracks now being produced, and will this SCV be able to cancel it? No. Not going to be able to delay it. Marines now being pumped out. Are we going to get a bunker dropped down anywhere? That really is going to be the question, as that first Marine's going to be popping out a little bit more quickly. And now, here comes this fight. We should probably see some sort of bunker being produced, and now Raven being forced to pull back some of his harvesters. So Raven's definitely going to take a hit in terms of that mineral count here, both sides. Now we have 2 Marines and a single SCV going to go ahead and head up that ramp, and now we have 1 Marine and a second and third Marine now being produced. So very early action in this game. Orbital call down using that meal, trying to get more of a macro game up. Both players now, Raven going for a double tech lab or double barracks, as Demuslim just pretty much mining in peace over here. Now in come these Marines, so there's going to be 3 Marines, and in comes this fight. So those SCVs trying to act as a little bit of that wall there. So those SCVs now coming back around that corner. Are they going straight for that barracks and taking a couple of free hits on those units? And now 1 Marine quickly getting taken down, but more SCVs coming back over, and it looks as though the Muslim's gonna be forced to pull back with this attack force. 3 Marines against 3 Marines. Is he gonna really re-engage at this stage and point? So barracks now moving over, and Marines coming over as well. So Marines doing a little bit of keep away, or just trying to shoot down that barracks, but that barracks still floating around, able to offer some consistent sight. Demuslim now getting down that factory, so we have an early factory for Demuslim, while Raven has dual barracks and does not have a factory yet. So if air does come into play, Raven really needs to do some sort of push in order to really capitalize on the fact that he has these 5 Marines early. His army size is in fact much larger. His army size is really, Raven's army size should really only be 300. It has 500 now. It's produced an additional Marine, and now using that barracks to offer sight beyond this. So that's how this is going to work, as those barracks now going to be lifted off, trying to get into that smoke. More Marines being pulled away. That barracks should probably just try to hover over here where those Marines cannot get to it. And now, how's this going to work? A tech lab being put down, and a bunker now being placed down as well. So if that bunker is built in time, we'll be able to hold off some of these Marines, but these Marines may try to do a run by with those SCVs, and if those Marines get to that mineral line, that's going to be a really well played. More SCVs now coming off the line as well. SCVs trying to do a little bit of a pushback as well, shooting down some of these SCVs. Now SCVs going to go ahead and pull back, jump into that bunker, but however those Marines are going to be able to do a little quick run by, and now going to be able to continue to push in. So now SCVs once again not having that full 60 hit points like in the original StarCraft Brood War, taking a fair amount of damage. But these Marines are going to be microed. Very nice micro, pulling back that last low hit point Marine, able to save it. And very nicely done by Demuslim, salvaging that bunker in order to be able to get back those 100 minerals. So very nicely done. Demuslim being able to move those bunkers and remove those bunkers for that full mineral cost. I wish you could salvage refineries once they're done. That's probably something that Terran players should or the Terran race as a whole should learn how to do. Once a refinery is done, you can no longer mine gas, salvage it. Anyways, barracks down over here, producing a couple Marines as well. So it's going to be Marine and Siege tanks against 2 Marauders. Those Marauders will be able to deal a significant amount of damage towards that one Siege tank. Siege tank dealing only 25 damage per shot. Those Marauders dealing 20 damage a shot as well. So those Marauders definitely dealing a significant damage, and as long as they focus fire, we'll be able to take it down. Taking down a quick SCV, as now we have 2 Siege tanks. Siege tanks have a range of 7 while they're not siege, so they will be able to deal more damage. How is this going to happen? And now in comes this fight. One Marine quickly getting taken down. I do not believe the Punisher grenades or the concussive shells have been researched. Both sides pretty much, with the similar size armies, just take off 150 minerals on both sides, as both of them do in fact have orbital commands. Raven may get an additional orbital command as well. Raven also mining much more efficiently with, what, 700 or 800 minerals per minute, as opposed to the Muslims only 650. So that's definitely going to play into this somehow. We now have a reactor being put down by the Muslim, so the Muslim getting a reactor on that barracks, and we'll see how that's going to work. Siege tanks sieging up, and wow, with that reactors are fairly expensive, so don't understand why that's on that low ground. Perhaps just to offer a little bit of sight, and that reactor now perhaps going to start producing those Marines. But yeah, that reactor quickly going to get shot down. These siege tanks not within range, and a Muslim sacrificing 50 minerals and 50 gas to those Marauders. Marauders once again pulling back, and what, 3 Marines and 7 Marauders. However, we in fact have the Muslim sitting on 2 Banshees, so those Banshees will in fact be able to do a significant damage. However, we should have a single Viking in the air, and Raven coming in with that Viking will be able to do a little bit of micro and try to pull back those units. Banshees, one Banshee quickly getting taken down. Banshees trying to take down as many workers as possible to try to get even up that economic advantage, and now Raven down to 18 harvesters as opposed to the Muslims 24. Marauders still running around the center of the map. Siege tanks getting macroed up. I do not see any Vikings being produced anywhere. No, sorry, Vikings now being produced over here at that starport. Was wondering where the Muslim hit that starport earlier. And also getting an orbital commando. Upgrading the orbital command for Raven. I do not see any command centers being built by the Muslim, which is a little bit surprising, as he is definitely behind economically, and of course right then the Muslim shows me that he does in fact know what he's doing and puts down a command center. So the command center now coming down into play, trying to even up that economic advantage. Engineering bay is in fact down, so we should have a couple missile turrets all spread throughout sporadically throughout the base. A Viking now coming out, trying to do a little bit of hit and run, trying to chase down that other Viking. One Viking obviously not faster or slower than another Viking, as there are no speed upgrades. So more Vikings being produced, no weapons upgrades to be seen. No, more Vikings being produced. Pretty much both players doing pretty much neck and neck at this stage. It still can be anyone's game. However, a quick Banshee rush is going to be able to grab hold of the center of the map, and the center of this map for Terran versus Terran is very important. You can siege tanks in this position, and they don't need any additional spotters, as that Zelnaga watchtower gives them sight. On top of that, because of the vents, it is very, very difficult to see these siege tanks. So if you cannot see these siege tanks, here we're going to go ahead and take a look at it from the Raven's point of view, and he cannot see these siege tanks trying to come in and then going to pull away that single Banshee. Banshee now coming out, and siege tanks should be firing. Why are they not finally coming in and firing just a little bit slow? Marauders are going to be forced to come in, taking a couple free shots, and now in come these Marines. However, the Muslim looks like he will be able to come out. No, he will not be able to come out of this particular engagement that well. Raven also losing that Viking. So Raven, however, still has a larger army, but once again, you got to remember that 300. Yeah, how is that army, right? 1100. And taking a look at the unit count, there is 3 Marauders, 1 Raven. Maybe some of you guys say maybe it counts units in production, but that does not seem to be the case, as the gas should definitely be higher. So now sitting at 1350. Yeah, well, perhaps it does count production, and I'll just have to take a look at it a little bit more. The Muslim now getting siege tanks. However, Raven not getting the Banshees that I expected him to be getting in order to try to counteract all of those siege tanks are on the ground. Now going mass barracks. So Raven going for a stronger ground infantry army, those Marauders are in fact fairly decent as long as you have medevac support and can start dropping those units. SCV coming in from MYMDemuslim in order to start repairing some of these siege tanks. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between MYMDemuslim and Raven here on Scrap Station.